Okay, two more quadratic formula problems. This one's already in standard form. This one's not in standard form, so we'll have to get that in standard form. First, we're going to do the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. So remember, we can spot our a, b, and c value. Here's a, here's b. Make sure you get the sign with that, and then here's our c value. Okay, so our b value is -2. Be careful here. When you square -2, you have to remember that you're squaring -2 that way. It's going to be a positive number. And then -4 times 3 times 2. So we have 4 minus 24 equals -20. So I'm going to have two non-real solutions. So I have negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That's going to be y equals, because of our variable here. So let's see, I have a negative value here. So what this looks like here is I got y equals -2, because that's my b value is -2, plus or minus the square root of -20 all over 6. I'm just going to write that out for you so you see it this time, 2 times 3. Okay, so our a value is 3. So I have y equals 2 plus or minus, well, let's think about the square root of -20. We know that breaks into 4 and 5. So I have 2 radical 5i. So 2 radical 5i all over 6. Okay. Now, if you type that answer in, or you write that answer down, some teacher might write that's not in simplified form. And that's because if you look, this is even, they can be reduced, okay? We can take a 2 out of all those numbers right there. So we'll divide all those by 2, and what we get is we get y is equal to 1 plus or minus radical 5i over 3. Okay, and what that came from, again, just is that this was even, this was even, and this was even. If all those were divisible by 5, we would divide them by 5, but in this case, they're all divisible by 2, so we divide them all by 2, but it has to be all 3 of those pieces. That's one of the common mistakes students make, okay, is the simplify incorrectly there. All right, taking a look at this problem, the first thing we'll do is get it into standard form. Some of you will be good enough to just move this term over as you copy it out onto your paper, but we're going to subtract 5x. Okay, and what we get is x squared minus 5x plus 8 equals 0. And then we'll do the discriminant. Running out of a little space here, so I'll do the discriminant right here, b squared minus 4ac. So remember that we have our a value here. So here's a. B is -5, and C is 8. Okay, so putting those values in, we have -5 squared minus 4 times 1 times 8. We get -25. Oh, positive 25. Mistake there. And -32. So we get -7 here. Two non-real solutions. So x is equal to -b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X is equal to negative 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 7. Remember, we just put our discriminant right in here. Over 2 times 1. I get x is equal to 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 7 over 2. And again, this, so far we have everything right. The only problem is we have to remember to simplify this because we've already learned that if we have negative in the radical, we can simplify it. And so I have 5, plus or minus radical 7i all over 2. And we can't simplify that any further.